to inform my son, 28M, that his new girlfriend's 35F child might be mine. There was absolutely no cheating involved whatsoever. I would never do that to my own son. He has only been seeing her for about 4 months from what he has shared with me, but she and I dated 2 years ago. However, it ended because I was going to be traveling for work for several months, and we just lost touch. She has an 18-month-old son that is very likely my child. My son told me the father isn't involved, but hasn't provided any other details other than it's just her raising the kid. I connected the dots as soon as I figured out it was her. You can't imagine how unbelievably awkward the first meeting was. Thankfully, it was with other family members around, but she was just as surprised as I was. This can't be kept a secret. If this is my child, I need to know. And as much as it pains me to put my son in this difficult position, he needs to know too. He's coming over later on so we can talk. I'm beyond nervous. I really don't even know where to begin explaining something like this to him. Update. The conversation was not easy at all. My son was very confused and upset, as would anyone be, honestly. I expected him to yell at me, but the shock was too much for him, so he did not have a strong reaction, but he was still very serious. I made sure he knew I'd understand if this is too much for him, so whatever he needs from me, I will try to do. As of right now, he just needs some space. And I mentioned in another comment that after our talk last night, he messaged me about going over to her place so he can hear this from her too. As far as I know, they have had their own talk, but I am not sure where they stand now. He didn't speak to me all day until he sent me a message earlier telling me he loves me, but he's going to need some time to himself, which I completely understand. It's not going to be something he'll easily get over. As far as paternity, well, we still don't know anything about that. I have communicated with her about locating a place where we can get this test done and out of the way, so we'll be doing that this week. It can't wait any longer, otherwise it's just gonna drive me crazy. Update. Sorry for taking so long to provide an update. There truly has been a lot happening, but I'm taking the time to finally get back to all of you after your tremendous support. It was an unusual situation to be in, so believe me, I'm relieved to have received the positive feedback and reassurance that I did. So yes, if you saw the update, I mentioned my son knows everything now. He needed a bit of time to himself, and ultimately, they decided to mutually break up. They both understood it wasn't worth complicating things further down the line when they hadn't been together that long. My son admitted to me that he was a little sad about the relationship ending, but he's glad I told him before his feelings for her deepened into love. We didn't communicate much for almost a week because he was on a guy's trip with his close friends, and then he needed a bit of time to process all of this information. The good thing is, we are talking again normally, which I am so grateful for. Seriously, it worried me how much this would affect my relationship with him, but I'm happy he's been so open about his feelings. He tells me it's still crazy how all this happened. He told me he's accepted it, though, and might try dating again in a few weeks. It's not all perfect. At least we are talking like we always do, though. And more than anything, I'm so happy he didn't hold what happened against me since none of us knew about this until we all had dinner. Now for the part I know many of you wanted to hear about. We did that paternity test, and the results confirmed her son is also mine. Part of me just had a feeling he was anyway, but it didn't hurt to just know for sure. We have been communicating more, and I've been taking the time to visit him almost every day. He's not mistrustful of strangers. In fact, he's been quite outgoing, which has really helped with trying to connect with him. Not my first experience as a dad, obviously, but I still feel like I'm relearning everything after such a long time, especially considering I've already missed so much time with him. I've been able to hold him and play with him and his toys, which is a joy. The thought of getting to experience many new milestones with another son always makes me happy. My son is now aware of his half-brother. He told me he'd like to meet him in the future when it doesn't feel as awkward. He hadn't met him earlier, as I explained in a few comments, because they weren't together long enough to make introductions. My son finds it kind of comforting knowing he has a brother now. Nonetheless, he told me he will need more time to get used to the idea before he's comfortable with officially meeting him, and I completely understand that. So yeah, it's been quite the journey so far. You can imagine how busy it's been with a new kiddo to bond with and raise. We are currently working with a lawyer to get all the legal matters in order right away. I want to ensure I have my rights as a father and secure my time with my son if she ever changes her mind about being cooperative and decides to exclude me from his life again. That's all I have for now in terms of an update, so I hope this addressed some of your questions.